Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown and
Hope Frants.
and she has been a marketing manager at a roofing company.
Yep, and a general manager. So previous life, but really got to dug in and get to experience that industry. So
we're going to talk about a little bit about I guess let's ask the question directly. What is the difference between working with a niched agency, somebody who's really focused on contractors, versus working with a general agency, and which one would you suggest?
So I would suggest a niche agency because one, you're going to be able to speak the language a little bit better. Contractors, they are very busy and they don't necessarily have the time to worry about social and everything like that. And an agency that doesn't actually understand the roofing industry, they're going to be posting content that doesn't, register with their customers. Mm-hmm. So let's say, you just basically hire an agency and you say, I want leads. And that's typically what contractors say. Yes. Just give me more leads. I don't care how you do it. Please just make it happen. Yeah. Well, a niche agency would most likely know if it's a residential contractor, okay, they probably want single family, roof replacement, storm restoration leads. I'm not going to send them some little gutter lead 2 hours away that they don't want to go after, but then they look bad because they're getting a lead coming in and answering the phone and saying, no, we can't do that for you. So it's important to have that agency that actually knows what a contractor wants.
I love it. And you think about, it's basically criteria, right? You kind of already know if you're a niched contractor agency that there's going to be clear criteria, what some of that criteria might be, what this company is capable of, because also you wouldn't want to send them this giant commercial roofing lead. And
you might.
Well, if they don't know how to do it yet, right? Like, I'm sure they can subcontract it out, figure it out. But there is criteria, and then it's also up to a contractor to figure out and construction company to figure out what the criteria is. Mm-hmm. What were some of your adventures in hammering out the criteria of what makes a good lead and a bad lead at your company?
So a good lead for a small mom and pop shop was something that was within 50 miles. We didn't want to be driving over an hour out somewhere, sending our guys too far because that's a lot of time and gas. Also, what kind of lead it was. So storm restoration, that's our bread and butter, and that's most contractors' bread and butter. So it was basically roof. And if that comes with siding and gutters, great, but roof was high turnover, and that's what we looked for. Yeah. So we would tell agencies that we had worked with in the past, please, like I said, don't just send us just this small gutter lead or just this window, small window replacement lead if it's over an hour away. If it's 10 minutes from where our location is, sure, we'll go check it out because it might lead to something else. Mm-hmm. But in reality, you're not going to make much money off of that, and time is money too. So
totally, and your best salespeople, you want to keep them on the right conversations. Right. Maybe you won't want to answer this question, but if you were to hire a marketing manager, let's say you're solidly in the general manager position, you're trying to hire for a marketing manager position at a roofing company, what would you be looking for? What kind of qualities, what kind of activities would you be wanting them to spend time on?
Footage, communication, constantly managing the calendar. So staying in very, very high communication with our production manager. So staying on top of the storm. So if it's going to rain, that means checking your weather right before you go to bed. So if you're supposed to be out at a job, taking footage of it with a drone or a time lapse or just photos in general, okay, if it rains and I don't call the production manager right away and ask him, are you moving this to whatever time? You'll be wasting time. So it's just staying on top of that type of stuff because the most important thing to me is getting that content of us actually tearing off the roof or interviewing our guys so they know they can say what products we're putting on because Master Elite contractors can put on the most high quality products. So GAF Master Elite. Yeah. So just getting all that information and just showing, our quick turnover, how quickly our guys can get things done.
So footage and content and being involved and knowing what's up and knowing what's up on the jobs, getting out there. I like that. Yeah. Is there anything anything else besides like the footage and content that you'd be really trying to have them focus on?
Well, the social media presence, which again goes with content, writing blogs, getting us out there in Google, because just knowing what Google wants so that we can get up there.
And or they could collaborate with an SEO company that's niched. But anyways, any other advice for contractors? Let's say they're 2.5 million. I'm thinking of somebody specifically at this moment. Let's say they're 2.5 million. They're trying to get to that 5 mark. Mm-hmm. And they are kind of figuring out what to do first, marketing manager or agency. And literally, I have not prepped her for this. I'm not leading. And be honest, what would you say would be the first one out of those two, marketing manager or marketing agency?
I would probably do an agency, and then actually, you're not going to like this, but I'd probably do a manager and then hire an agency and make sure the manager can speak the language of the agency and that we're only getting the pieces that we actually need. So we're not buying stuff that we don't need from that agency because contractors don't typically know your language, so.
I agree. I mean, I think especially, and I kind of qualify it with especially, to me, the more aesthetic trades, I will say, like anything remodeling, marketing manager first, every time. Yeah. And I think a little bit like, let's say you go towards like the real, nuts and bolts ones, like electrician, plumbing, I think roofing maybe, but I'm biased, so I can't be unbiased in this situation. That you might want to do agency first, just because it is so much about leads, and sometimes no matter how much you post on social media, right? No matter how much video you put up, people aren't seeing it. That's the problem. Like you could have the best content in the world, but you got to get people to see it. And I think that maybe an agency, a specialized agency, could get more eyeballs quicker. It's kind of, to be honest, I like that you disagree with me. It's okay. I dig it. Because honestly, it's perspective, right? It's hard for an agency to be impartial about that. So I like where you're going.
I think marketing manager is a bit of a jump too, though. Yeah. I think maybe an assistant to the whatever. It depends on what size of company you are. So let's say
you're half admin, half marketing or something.
Something like that. Someone to come in and maybe even just work. Usually if it's a smaller company, the owner is the one going out there getting that stuff. Yeah. And so almost like an assistant to the owner, marketing assistant.
I like that.
I think that would be probably better to start with, and then bring in the agency or vice versa, whatever, but having that one person who can constantly communicate to the agency, because the owner or whoever you have typically doesn't have time to get you the information you might need.
And so I guess you're really saying it depends in a way. Like if the owner is willing to put in that hour a week or whatever to kind of like be the transmission between the company and the marketing agency, then maybe you can do it that way. Yeah. But otherwise you do need a transmission piece, because otherwise an agency could be running the wrong direction for 6 months without some guidance. So you basically have to have somebody there to transmit, I think. Well, you heard it here. Hope has been involved with this. I've certainly been involved on the other side. We appreciate you guys watching the video. I hope this was useful to someone today. I'm sure it was. And appreciate you guys.
Thanks, guys.